Hello, hello, hello. So where are you all at this week? We have done a 5 days cleaning the slate. We have been following through with the Home Detox Box packet that I go through, which is this one here, which is a 7-day detox program to clean you from the inside out. It is all about high fiber shakes for 3 days fast. It is all about probiotics, all about enzymes, all about flushing out all the debris in the waste with an enema, and then advice about how to break the fast, how to do the best that you possibly can, how to stay in ketosis. So what have we been doing this week? We have been doing the Home Detox Box, and this is day 5 of following the Home Detox Box and following the shakes that you make with high fiber and water and taking green juices and those kind of things. So the whole kit itself, as I went through earlier on in the week, it contains the packets for the psyllium and the bentonite clay, which you take 1 spoon of that 5 times a day in water. You have probiotics, which you take, which help break down and put back in all the good bacteria into your gut. You have enzymes, which are there to help you break down the food that hasn't been put through your intestines, which I'll go through in a minute. More fiber to take after the detox so that you really are keeping a high fiber diet. And then the magical, fantastic enema kit, which allows you to flush out all the debris and all the toxins that you have been releasing during the last few days. So the first 3 days we are doing the shakes, and we're not doing anything else. We're just taking the shakes, and in the evening probably taking a juice or a vegetable soup, something like that, just making it really easy, because your digestion system deserves a holiday. And what happens when you go on holiday? You reboot, you recharge, your immune system becomes so much better. You rest, basically. Rest, 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 rest. All the time is rest. Your body cannot cleanse itself, kickstart itself without having a lot of rest. And because a lot of the energy that you normally use to digest food is then becoming available for you when you do a fast, it's going to use that energy to go and clean house. It's going to go into all your cells. It's going to empty your cells, and it's going to take all the debris and all the waste and all the toxins down through your digestive system, through into your bowels, and you need to be able to flush that out pretty quick. Probiotics we take with the detox because that is so important. So many women that I speak to have got 0 good bacteria in their gut because they've eaten so much sugar, they've been on medication, they've drunk a lot of alcohol, all these things, or they've eaten a lot of cooked food, sugary foods. Stress kills your good bacteria as well. It's estimated that 1 in 4 women have 0 good bacteria in their intestines, which means that you'll suffer from fatigue, exhaustion. Your hormones will be erratic and kind of all over the place. You'll feel very bloated in your stomach. You'll have a lot of gas and wind and basically just really bloated and uncomfortable. That's when your waistline completely disappears and you just have this barrel-like kind of looking body. Hair, nails, skin, they become very old and aging because the body just can't look after you very well. Emotionally, you kind of lose it. You become irrational and irritated very, very quickly. This is amazing. This is all has to do with your gut bacteria. Emotional turbulence. So yeah, there's no balance in your emotions there. Your hormones kind of go a little bit haywire. And of course, you lack self-confidence because an awful lot of these things are going on and they have a knock-on effect to what's going on in your body. This is all to do with your gut bacteria. And if you've got poor gut bacteria, you're inviting parasites and worms and things like that to live inside your your intestines, which makes it even harder for you to kind of feel good, because they really have a lot of what they excrete is a lot of very poisonous stuff, which has a big effect on how you feel generally in your body as well. The enzymes that we take during the week in capsule form, probiotics are in capsule form as well. These you take for the first few days. So this is what they look like, without making them fall all over the floor. There you go. Those are the enzymes. So this is what I've been taking this week as well. Enzymes are absolutely necessary because you need them to break down the food that you eat. Anything that's cooked, like your meat and things like that, if you eat a lot of protein and meats, you need the enzymes, an external source of enzymes, as well as the enzymes that come from your pancreas to help digest that. The enzymes break down the food. Now, normally enzymes go along with the mastication, the chewing, and the saliva that goes around. You really need to chew very well to mix in the saliva and mix in the enzymes so that the food gets broken down. Otherwise, your stomach is doing an awful lot of the sort of the churning and the breaking down and using a lot of acid. If you don't have a lot of acid in your stomach, especially as we get older, or if you're blood type A, you don't have a great deal of acid in your stomach. So what happens there is big chunks of unchewed food end up in your intestines, in your small intestines and in your large intestines, and they get blocked in the nooks and the crannies in the skin folds and things like that. So if you to sort of look at your intestines like an arm, then this part here, when the food sort of comes down, it gets lodged here and it can't really flow very well. So there's mucoid plaque, there's mucus that comes along and kind of smooths that over so that the rest of the food can take the next journey. But here you can have food locked and blocked for decades. You can, it's not easy for it to ever get out of there, especially if the next day and then the next day and then the next day you've got this mucus sort of covering it over. And the more meat, dairy, cheese, those kind of things that you eat, and wheat, if you eat a lot of breads and things like that, a lot of mucus is provided in your body so that will help smooth that journey forward. And this piece of meat or big unchewed piece of food that rests here, it festers and it gets kind of, invites infections and things into your body. And because you've got very low probiotics in your gut, parasites also end up living here and really surviving rather well on this unchewed piece of food here. So you really don't want that. That's something that you don't want in your body. And if you've got certain symptoms going on to do with your digestion, if you've got a lot of mucus, if you are blocked, if you're snoring, if you have a constant nasal drip, this is often why, and it's the parasites that live within your bowels that will be causing those kind of things. It's not pretty, but it is definitely sortable outable. All right. So enzymes are needed to break the food down. So when you do a detox and you've got a lump of unchewed food or something lodged in your intestines, the enzymes come down and they're munching away and they're softening up, and they really are kind of helping soften up all this mucoid plaque. And then they've got access to this piece of unchewed food and they can kind of soften that up as well. And then when the psyllium and the clay mixture comes down, it can grab it and it can help evacuate it out of the body. Along your intestines, you have reflex points. So reflex points for your speech, reflex points for your movement of your limbs, reflex points for your mind, reflex points for your left-hand side and your right-hand side of your body, memory, all sorts of things. You have about 72 reflex points along your intestines. Now, if this is a reflex point and it's to do with, for example, mobilization of your arm, flexibility of your arm, and you haven't had flexibility in your arm for a long time, and during the detox that gets moved away, you will find that you are able to do things that you weren't able to do before, and it's not explainable because you've got absolutely no idea what's blocking your intestines. I've had ladies not only clear up eczema in a whole week, but I've had ladies do a week or a 2-week detox with me, and this particular lady, she had something blocking and it kind of moved, and she lost her ability to pronounce things properly. Exactly, that was exactly what was happening. She couldn't pronounce things properly, so her daughter was asking her to say long and complicated words, and she couldn't say them, even though, you know, thesaurus or things like that, or supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and she couldn't say them because her movement of her lips and things, just the lip sync had gone. And this is to do, God, so much goes on in your intestines, it's absolutely amazing. But after a couple of days that was gone, and she was kind of back to normal. And it just shows you that when things are moving out and through, you can have effects of those kind of things as they move out and through your body as well. If you are eating a lot of meat, a lot of cheese, a lot of bread, then sometimes you will have just, you know, bits of unchewed food in your intestines. So the detox will have been able to sort of release that, and because of the high fiber, you'll have been able to kind of sweep that through and let a lot of that sort of release itself down the toilet with the enema, thankfully. If you want to go on from here and have things slightly better with your probiotics, your enzymes, and your ability to sort of evacuate your body, there are things that you need to be able to do. So that's why we're talking about that today on day 5, clean slate, as to how you proceed. You would be proceeding by chewing your food extremely well, at least 30 times, so that it's very mushy inside your mouth. And taking great care to find out, I'm full now, I don't really need to eat anymore. Also taking great care to know when you're thirsty and when you're genuinely hungry. To take a slow look at your food, to really set a timer and think, well, I'm going to take half an hour to eat this meal, and don't move for half an hour. So set your timer so that you don't move for half an hour, and then so just turn that over if you've got a timer or something like that. Use your phone, use the timer on your phone, the stopwatch, and just don't move. Just promise yourself that you're not going to move for half an hour, and you'll really understand more about what's going in your body, what's going on in your body, when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you're full. The next thing is make sure that you have time to digest your food. Don't go running around and doing crazy things straight after you've eaten. You'll probably also find that you don't need to eat quite so frequently during the day when you've done a detox. And not only will you absolutely adore your body and be much more aware and thankful and praise your body, but you'll probably go, oh, I don't need breakfast, lunch and dinner. I don't really need that anymore. That is something that really, really can change. Make sure that you're planning that you've got the kind of foods that you really love to eat available for you in your fridge and in your cupboards. Even if you've got a family and you're cooking and you're preparing food and shopping for other things in the house, there's a point when you make a decision. There's a point when you say, I'm so fed up of feeling this way. I'm so fed up of feeling exhausted. I just do not want to do this anymore. Then you'll discover that you've made a decision. It's like, no, actually, I put myself first. I want to feel like this more and more and more often. That's where a detox is fantastic, because you are very aware of what feels good and what doesn't feel good in your body. A detox is fantastic for helping you kind of go, oh, that's good. Oh, that feels good. Oh, no, I don't like this and I don't like that. It gives you time out to make some decisions and really know what you want with your body. What's next? If you want to stay in ketosis and you don't want to go back to sugars and breads and carbohydrates and those kind of things, it's a really good opportunity to follow a different kind of menu, and I'll be going through that next week. I've put a link in the page there so you can have a look. It's called 7 pounds in 7 days. It helps you lose 7 pounds in 7 days, but more than that, it helps your body stay in ketosis and move it over from using sugar for fuel. Now, sugar for fuel is very kind of jagged and very erratic, and as soon as it's up, it's straight back down. Like, you have to keep filling up sugar because the energy for sugar lasts such a short space of time. As soon as you move over to fat for fuel, in other words, the fat that you stored on your body, because your body will always take excess and store it into fat. So you can use the fat for fuel that's within your body, but you can also make sure that you eat a lot more fat as well. So avocados, full fat creams, butters, things like that, nut butters. So that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. It's called 7 pounds in 7 days. Please help yourself and let me know how you get on with that. And we'll be looking at green juices, salads, all sorts of things in there as well. So please ask your questions if you have any questions about that, so let me know. And if you have anything that you want to find out about my retreats, I run retreats all year long, and I guide people through doing a detox, getting their body into ketosis, helping them to eliminate what they don't want, changing their perception about nutrition, changing their perception about their body and what they want with it next. And that's just a brilliant way to look at yourself and give yourself a holiday as well. So that's what I do here in Biarritz, Southwest France. Absolutely love living here myself, and I love inviting ladies to come and stay and do a detox as well. So thank you very much for this week. Thoroughly enjoyed giving you a bit of an insight as to what goes on when we do the Home Detox Box, and this is one of the ways that we do a detox when you come and stay with me as well. We make sure that you are spring clean and ready to go. Never had such a clean slate on the inside and on the outside, mentally, emotionally and physically. Right, going to love you and leave you. Have an awesome day, have an awesome weekend, and we're going to start the 7 pounds in 7 days on Monday. Let me know if you have any questions.